And if we could start with table one, a representative, just kind of sum up briefly some of the things that you discussed at that table, please. Yes, sir.
Among the things that we talked about, it was brought up that knowledge retention is area of interest to management employees. However, there's a tendency for it to be put on the back burner. And it was pointed out that sometimes before action can be taken, it really takes a crisis in order to get management to move and support with resources and the support that's needed. Question came up as far as how do you select the critical information needed. One way was handling it through the initial assessment, and also the importance of having a real strong business case as far as what you need it for, and to look at the costs in money as far as getting the information if you lose it. So that'll help to kind of focus on what you really need. The other thing is to focus on your mission and what's really mission critical. Other challenge as far as getting employees to contribute. One thing that was pointed out was that you probably need sort of a win-win approach where it's a collaborative approach on things. If you go in and tell employees, especially those that are nearing retirement, that tell us everything you know and we want to kind of suck your brain dry, that's not really the way of doing it. It has to be sort of a win-win situation. And then the other point that was very good was looking for other sources. We tend to look at people that are eligible to retire, but if you look at new employees coming in, sometimes those are right out of school, can be really good sources of knowledge and can really help your organization. So these are the
great and all very, very good points. I'm sure we'll hear some of the things as we move on down. Table two. You representative, please. Yes, ma'am.
We looked at some of the things. One of our questions is, what steps have you been put in place within your company or agency to retain and transfer mission critical information? Well, some with a military background, they talked about job banks, job books, SOPs, sometimes job shadowing. But we also noted that oftentimes in a gap billet, somebody's already gone and somebody's coming in and that person's already there, so they can't quite job shadow all the time. Yep, there is explicit information they can read. But some organizations, they have a bi-weekly best practices, which helps circulate the information throughout that area. So at some time, maybe that knowledge was shared, and so the group itself becomes smarter. So when a new person comes in, they can say, oh, I heard Tony talk about a certain thing, and they have it. Some are starting to have a little bit like a knowledge cafe where some of the senior managers were talking about the executive core qualifications, 5 of them, and that they can then come and talk about that in a non-threatening kind of way and share, gee, I'm here because of, and these are the things that affect us. And they had quite a turnout on that. The other thing that was nice is that, press wasn't there, so therefore their sharing could be just with those people who attended, and it was non-punitive, kind of anonymous. I don't have to put something out. I'm talking about how I've grown my guts to get to this job, but they could make their comments in a non-punitive, in a collegial manner. The other one, we had exit interviews. Oftentimes in the military environment, military people go, they check in, they check out. Somebody said, well, why don't we do that for civilians? They don't have to go. It is like they have orders. And it was a rather minor exit interview until they got to that other box, and that's where all the information came. And they realized, gee, it had to do not so much with, it had to do with the frustrations on the job, not so much a career move up, because some people were actually, I'm leaving and I have no other job, but I'm not staying here. So they found out information there. And then they were saying, well, perhaps some of that, we could catch the person and change some of those things. Maybe they wouldn't go. So things got routed around to HR, knowing in the military or government, the hire cycle is so long that maybe we can keep those people and change that stuff. And then somebody else had mentioned, well, maybe we should start having that dialogue about what's affecting you and your job and your task and maybe your growth or trying to get promoted. Maybe we should start having that sooner than just the exit interviews or near the end, or trying to capture it just before it goes, gathering, holding somebody just before they left off the bridge. Maybe we should start that soon. So that was pretty much what we had.
Well, good. Thank you. You can see, obviously, you start to cycle some of the same ideas which you would expect. Table 3, please. Yes, sir.
Well, I'm the one that got put on the spot, but I can honestly say that